Okay. Hello. I am dogging myself so bad. I keep creating the same experience over and over and over and over again because it's pissing me off. Well, that's how it works. That's why I decided to title this stream Creating Reality or Reality Creation in Phase 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. I got a new haircut. I got slut strands. Yeah. Does this look hot? What do you think? Do I look good? Hi, Marie Cruz Suarez. What's up? Welcome. Hey, everyone. Welcome. I'm Sam, if you've never been here before. I like to run Q&A live streams, so if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I do my best to answer as many as possible. Thanks. I like it too. It's fun. Thank you, REI Wholesaler. Thank you. Yeah, so this is a Q&A. We're going to be talking about reality creation in Phase 2. And if you've never heard of Phase 2, I like to describe it as a literal secret of the wealthy because that's what it is. Yeah. Oh, I forgot my chapstick. Crap. It's fine. Hi, Bonnie. Hello, Bonnie. There must be two Bonnies. Bonnie, do you also have another TikTok page that's like, it's a man's name or something about manifesting? I'm confused. Whatever. Anyway, Q&A about reality creation. This is super funny because, oh, okay, great. So it's the same person. Cool. Good to see you. I don't recommend college. No. I mean, I would only recommend college if you feel like you really want to go. And if you feel like you really want to do something that would require you to go to college, like being a doctor or something, for example. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter if your family's been to college before. You shouldn't include that in your decision because the only thing that matters is what you feel like doing, right? Librarian. How is quantum networking different from the law of attraction? Great question. Thank you so much. So here's how I like to explain the difference. With the law of attraction, a really common instruction that you get is to like feel like let's say you want to be a millionaire, for example. Feel like a millionaire, act like a millionaire, tell yourself you're a millionaire before you're a millionaire. Basically like fake it till you make it, just pretend. That's law of attraction, right? I was like thinking. That's law of attraction. Alternatively, Phase 2, the only thing you need to do in Phase 2 is appreciate yourself. So it's not like you're trying to figure out, okay, stop spamming the chat. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hold on. What is with these questions? Oh, I forgot to say my thing. I will take any and all questions as long as they're not vulgar, disrespectful, or just fucking stupid. So, yeah. Okay. Where was I? Hey, Metabolism Mastered. Welcome. Good to see you. Let me finish what I was saying earlier. Law of attraction, pretending to be a way that you've never been. Like, how are you going to feel like a millionaire if you've never been a millionaire before? You have no idea. So essentially, you're overcomplicating the process. You're confused. You're stressing. Am I doing this right? Is this how I would feel as a millionaire? You're doing lots of journaling, lots of logical thinking. Alternatively, in Phase 2, the only thing that you need to concern yourself with is appreciating yourself. That is it. You don't have to try to figure out how you would feel if you had a certain experience or whatever. All you do is appreciate yourself. All you do is like yourself more, give yourself happiness, accept responsibility for your entire experience, and that expands. It just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And with that expansion comes bigger, different, more exciting experiences. Like, for example, me specifically, I've struggled with money all of my life. In fact, we're writing a whole book about money. It's coming out in January. I've struggled with money my entire life. Literally like 2 months ago, it was in October, this year, I started appreciating myself for the first time ever. And I had my first $10,000 month. It was like $0, like sub $1,000 a month. Fortunately, my fiance is wealthy. He's doing well. So he was able to support me, but I was struggling financially for like years. I was like, fuck it. Whatever I'm doing obviously isn't working, so I'm going to appreciate myself. And the moment I started doing that, my money problem went away. It was just like poof. And it wasn't like I was pretending that I was making $10,000 a month. I wasn't pretending I had money. I wasn't trying to feel that way. I just started liking myself for the first time ever. And problem solved. Anyway. Hello, Patricia Black. Okay. Cool. Hi, Tim Worrell. I do need a mod. Does anyone want to be a mod? Oh, 25 AC's here. Cool. Okay. Hi, Cap Attack. You're welcome, librarian. Okay, 25 AC. Can you understand why someone would think of this as spiritual bypassing? Can I understand it? Yes. If someone were to tell me, like, this is spiritual bypassing, you're just ignoring all the suffering in the world or whatever, what I would do is nothing. I would acknowledge that I created that experience because this has nothing to do with other people. In fact, this has happened to me fairly recently. I've made a post on Instagram. It was like yesterday. And what I said in the Instagram post was, there are no systemic issues. Your world is your entire creation. And if you're experiencing systemic issues, it's for the purpose of making you feel limited. Everything you're experiencing is you. There is no outer world. Now, people will obviously get pissy about that, but only if I don't fully believe what I'm saying myself. So what I did was I created people to come to my page and be like, yeah, but what about all the poor people in third world countries or whatever, whatever they said. The reason I created that is because when I experience that, I get upset. I haven't chosen to feel differently about that experience yet, which is why I keep creating it. It's the same exact thing with my money experience. I used to get upset about running out of money every month when I would pay the bills. Like clockwork. At the end of every month, my account would be drained and I'd be like, fuck my life. Fuck these fucking utility companies. Fuck this fucking apartment complex. I hate everything. Money sucks. I'm so stressed out. This is so stupid. The moment I was like, wait, I don't have to get upset about running out of money. Like, I can see my account be empty and not feel upset about it, was the moment I stopped having a money problem. So if people are, I don't know if this is happening in your experience, but if this happens in my experience, I take responsibility for it because that's something I have an emotional reaction to. And the things that you all have emotional reactions to are what you keep creating. Yeah. So it doesn't even matter, like, whatever spiritual bypassing is defined as, people define it differently. That doesn't matter. The point is you're creating what you're reacting to. Okay. I would love to be a mod. Hi, iMaster. I will make you a mod. Yes. Oh, wait. How do I do that? Add moderator. Thank you. Thank you for offering. Girl, 10K a month is my financial goal right now. Word. You have to appreciate yourself more. That's it. Okay. Hey, Joseph the Burrito. All right. I'm going to do my best to get to as many questions as possible, but if I take a little bit of time, just please be patient. It would also really help if you refrain from asking questions until I'm done answering a question. Whatever works for you. You can comment, but I try to get to as many questions as possible. Phase 2 is better than the law of attraction because you get an awesome haircut without effort. Word. Facts. Last of a breed. How has this procedure worked for you? Well, I kind of just described exactly how it worked for me in one way. It's worked in tons of other ways as well. In fact, I can tell another funny story. It's a cute, quirky little story. It's not like a big deal or anything. Well, actually, it kind of is a big deal. But yesterday, I was out kind of just doing whatever I wanted to, and I felt like getting a haircut. So I just pulled up a hair salon on Google. It was the nearest one. It was the closest one to me. I was at a coffee shop. And I go to this salon and they're like, yeah, we can take you. So I get my haircut. And I didn't have a photo. I had no idea what haircut I wanted. I just knew I wanted a haircut. And the girl who was cutting my hair was literally 19 years old. And I trusted her to do what she thought would work, what she thought would look nice, because she's the stylist, right? I was a little nervous, to be honest. I started out really nervous because she's 19 years old, right? It could be her first day on the job. I have no idea. But she did a really fantastic job. And the reason that worked out that way was because I chose to feel appreciative, happy, relaxed, and confident that I was creating the experience and it would work out perfectly. And that's exactly what happened. She was great. She did a fantastic job. Not only that, though, This is a phase 2 experience, by the way. This is how it works in phase 2. Not only that, I also wanted to get a new pair of socks because it's winter here and my feet get cold and I don't have any warm socks. So I walk out of the salon and I'm like, oh, maybe I should go to Target, which, going to Target is out of the way, annoying, whatever. But I look to the side and there's a gift shop right next to the salon. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if they have socks in there. I walk into this gift shop right next door and I say, do you sell socks here? And the owner's like, no, we don't have socks, but we have slippers. And they're right next to you. So I look down and there's like a little basket of slippers. And I'm looking in this basket and there's one pair that's my size. And I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just take it. I didn't even think about it, just took it. Paid for them. The owner's like, oh, that was really easy. And I was like, yeah, it was. I get home and I try the slippers on and I'm like, these are awesome. They're perfect. I'm actually wearing them right now. I'll show you. They're the perfect slippers. And I had no idea what I wanted. I just knew I wanted slippers or socks. So even though I didn't know what I wanted, I got exactly what I did want twice in the same day because I allowed that to happen and I trusted that I was creating my experience and I didn't try to control the outcome. So, yeah. Yes. Andre does not currently have a TikTok. I think he's going to be starting one soon. Yeah. It was super fun. All right, let me catch up on some comments here. Hey, Carl Olson usernames. I just listened to your book. That was so good. Everyone needs to check it out. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm screenshotting that. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And thanks for checking it out. I really appreciate it. I cut my hair. I'm not Android 18 anymore. I know, right? Metamorph. Your book and audiobook is great. Need more, please. Thank you. We are coming out with another audiobook in January. It's all about money. It's called Quantum Cash. So yeah, you can actually pre-order that right now. And then when it comes out in January, you'll just get it emailed to you. It's like a little Christmas present for yourself. All right. Last of a breed. So is this different than fake it till you make it, or is it just less complicated? You're not faking anything here in phase 2. It's less complicated and you're not faking it till you make it. Because really, what do you have to make? With phase 2, the idea is that you are everything. You have everything right now simultaneously. Like from a quantum mechanics perspective, all things are happening simultaneously. You have all things that you desire to have right now. There's all potential experiences occurring simultaneously, but you're focusing on how you feel, and it's how you feel that determines what experiences you have. Like me with the haircut yesterday. I chose to feel good, relaxed, and confident instead of nervous and like stressed out, and so my hair turned out really well. That stylist could have easily fucked the whole thing up. I have this crazy cow look in the front. She could have easily cut my bangs too short, and I would have had like a unicorn horn. Didn't happen because I trusted myself. Yes. I want to do the shift too. You can. It's mad simple. User 22. YouTube suggested me your old channel. What, the Indy Rossi channel? That's funny. Indy Rossi is not, Indy is not my name, obviously. It's Sam. Jamie Beaton. Hey Sam, you're awesome. Thanks. Do you differentiate the mini process and busting loose from the money game? I don't really know if I understand your question fully. I've used that process before, and actually just today I kind of realized that my statements exercise is like my version of the process from that book. So there's more than one way to do it. If you like the exercise from Busting Loose, then use that one. Or you can use mine. Yeah. There's always more than one way to do anything. Thanks, Dodging Karma. Hey, Dodging Karma. Elimnos. This is from Amazon. I got it probably 3 years ago. I've had it for a long time. But it's really heavy. It's very good quality. Okay. Exactly, que pendeja. You don't have to worry about being clear or specific like manifesting. Yes, in fact, trying to be clear and specific is controlling the outcome, which is like fear-based. It's having expectations. And having expectations is always a limitation. Because here's the thing. I could have been like, these are the exact socks I want. They need to be this long, they need to be this color, and they need to be this thick. And I may or may not have found socks like that, but even if I did find socks like that, it's entirely possible that they weren't actually the right ones for me. I just thought I wanted them. So because I was open to getting whatever I wanted, what I ended up getting was exactly the right thing. but I wasn't aware of what that was, right? Yes. Shazad 0171. How do you approach someone who's wealthy but in a similar group, but I want to strike a bond? How do you approach someone who's wealthy and you want to strike a bond? Well, the thing is, I'm going to speak from a phase 2 perspective. If you're meant to have a connection with that person, you can have it effortlessly. You can't possibly fuck it up. If you're not meant to have a connection with that person and they're not supposed to play a role in your life, you can't force it. You could try to force it, but you're not going to have very much fun. So that's kind of how phase 2 works with relationships. The people you're supposed to know, you're just going to connect with effortlessly. There's no manipulation you could possibly do to ruin it or make it work. It just happens. Like for me, for example, a couple weekends ago, I met these girls for the first time ever. They followed me on Instagram. They were like, we're in town. Can you meet up? I said, sure, because I was looking for new friends and they're my age. So we meet up, total strangers, and we're like friends from the first minute. I still talk to them to this day. Like we're friends. And I didn't have to spend hours like trying to make small talk or whatever. It was just like, yeah. So I understand you may want to connect with this particular person, but you may not, it might not be someone you're supposed to know. If it is someone you're supposed to know, it'll work out no matter what you do. Okay. Yes. The 12-step, why would I be in a 12-step group? Do I look like an addict? That's funny. Have I read Psycho-Cybernetics? I have not read it, but I used to listen to this guy on YouTube called Joseph Rodriguez, who did a lot of book reviews. It was interesting because he would do book reviews, but then like combine his reviews about different books. So he would compare like Psycho-Cybernetics to another book. What's the book about like flow state by the author with the really long name? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. ¿Hablas español? Un poquito. Yeah. Okay. What am I missing here? Hey, Sam, I'm envisioning you cash apping me 20K. Oh, that's hilarious. Shmee, do you have Pisces placements? I don't know. What I do know is that I'm like a pure Gemini. I have Sun, Moon, Mars, and Mercury in Gemini. First house. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Fighty4. I manifested everything I wanted. That's good. Money is easy to manifest, but love, what do you think? Nothing is more difficult or more easy to manifest than anything else. Manifest, create, whatever you want to use. If you think love is harder to manifest than money, then it's going to be harder. But if you just let go of the comparisons, because comparisons and judgments and expectations are always limiting, that's the triad of limitation, you're going to make it harder for yourself. I don't know why you think love is harder to manifest than money, but maybe you should stop telling yourself that. Hey, Cake Luba. Patricia Black, have I explored human design? Yeah, I have. I thought it was really interesting, but also extremely complicated. Very complicated. Hey, thanks for the likes. Whoever keeps sending me a bunch of likes, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm a Gemini too. Word. Hi, Wallygon. Just got into this live. Hi, welcome. Could you explain what you mean by appreciating yourself in phase 2? Absolutely. Feeling rich and lonely. Fighty4. I feel you. Okay. Appreciating yourself in phase 2. It's very simple. Resist the urge to overcomplicate this because people want to overcomplicate this all the time. It's very simple. Appreciating yourself is how you get into phase 2. Appreciating yourself is as simple as doing things that you enjoy, things that make you happy, and taking responsibility for your entire experience. So let me give you an example. I'm trying not to burp in your face. Anyway. So let me give you an example. Let's say you really enjoy, like, I don't know, riding bikes. You love riding bikes. Love it. Makes you happy. So to appreciate yourself, you would make time to ride your bike. And while you're riding your bike, you're focusing on feeling that happiness. A lot of people, when they're doing stuff they enjoy or just doing anything in general, they're constantly thinking about something else. Like, oh shit, I got my project done. I got to commute to work. I got to make dinner. What am I going to make for dinner? Yeah, all this other shit. Focus on the good feelings that you're creating through that experience. Second, take responsibility for the entire thing. I created the bike. I created the good weather. I created the bike path. I created my legs that I can use to ride my bike with, whatever. I created the time that I'm using. I created the money that I used to purchase my bike. I created my helmet. I created my brain. I created this beautiful world all around me. I'm powerful. I'm fucking awesome. Like, this is so awesome. That's self-appreciation. Most people have never done that ever, not once ever in their entire lives, which is why the first time you do it, it's like, holy shit, I can see how this would change everything. Yeah, self-appreciation expands. That's why it's different than self-love. Self-love is like, oh, I just love myself, that's it. I don't hate myself, I love myself. But it doesn't go further than that. Self-appreciation, you're expanding it as often as you possibly can. Every day, if you can. Yes. Bro, what's up, Saoirse? Life party. Love you, Sam. How are you? I'm doing well. How are you? Okay. Have I read books by Neville Goddard? I have studied him. I haven't read any of his books, but I've listened to a lot of recordings and read articles and stuff about him. I find his teachings interesting, but very complicated. Because I'm not religious. I don't know like anything about the Bible, but he does a lot of Bible quoting and telling stories from the Bible. So it just goes like right over my head, honestly. Okay. Hello. Cool, but so complex, indeed. Dodging Karma. What is the book Quantum Networking about exactly? You mean you haven't read it? You've been following me for this long and you still haven't read it? Just kidding. So quantum networking is about two things. There's two elements to it, the way I see it. First, quantum networking tells the whole background of like how we got into phase 2, which tells the story of Andre and his mentorship with Peter. You may recall or know that Peter was the guy who made like $50 million throwing house parties. That's in that book. The other part of quantum networking is it explains how phase 2 works and how you can use phase 2 to meet the people you're supposed to meet effortlessly. Because like earlier I was talking about you're supposed to have connections with certain people, and if you meet someone who you're not really technically supposed to have a connection with, you're not going to be able to connect with them. And there's nothing you can do to force it. So from a phase 2 quantum networking perspective, networking becomes effortless. You essentially come across people who you're supposed to know. You don't have to go out and find them. They just find you, and you connect instantly. It's very simple. You have that power. You've always had that power, and you chose those people for their particular roles they can play in your experience, and vice versa. They chose you for the roles you can play in theirs. That's why it works out. It's like the cogs of a watch perfectly fitting together. Yeah. I got an in-depth human design reading, and it helped a lot. That's freaking awesome. Yeah. That sounds really interesting, Livy and Storm. Fighty 4, I'll stop thinking that love is difficult to manifest. Yeah, stop doing that. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Hello, everyone. All right, let me catch up on some questions here. I'm just struggling with sticking to any manifestations. I keep slipping on them. Okay. You're making it harder than it needs to be, user 231. You're making it a lot harder than it needs to be. What do you even mean by sticking to manifestations? Do you forget to like think about them? Thinking about manifestations does absolutely nothing. Jack fucking shit. Thinking is pointless. Thinking has literally no effect on your experience. It's how you feel that affects your experience. This is why they say with the law of attraction, you got to pretend like you got to feel a certain way. Pretend you're a millionaire, feel like a millionaire, think like a millionaire. It's not thinking that you're a millionaire that makes you a millionaire. It's not feeling like a millionaire that makes you a millionaire. It's appreciating yourself. So if you're struggling with sticking to your manifestations, that just tells me, and I would need more detail, but what I'm getting, like intuitively getting from this comment, is that you're not appreciating yourself, first of all, and second, you think your manifestation is separate than you. It's not separate than you or from you, English. It is you. It already exists. You just refuse to accept that, or maybe you're not aware of it. You're more powerful than you realize. It's not like fucking Wheel of Fortune, right? You're not spinning the wheel hoping you get your manifestation. It already exists. You just don't appreciate yourself enough to realize that you have that power and to accept that it is you. If you want a new car, you don't save up to buy a new car. Well, you would in phase 1. But in phase 1, you accept that you are a car. You are the perfect car, and your perfect car is coming into your experience now. And the more you appreciate yourself, the closer you get to accepting that, right? Yeah, okay. G-Aware Nerd, how does expanding appreciation look? How does it look? It looks like being happy and liking yourself and taking responsibility. So it looks like not worrying about rubbing anything in anyone else's face. I think personally, that was always the biggest like wall for me or obstacle that prevented me from being happier. Because I was worried that if I'm openly happy, other people are going to be like offended and get mad at me for rubbing my happiness in their face. So I just like downplayed it all the time. But that's why your life isn't working out the way you want it to. Because you choose to continue to feel powerless, weak. You choose to like complain about your life just to fit in with everyone else. Guess what? That's why your life sucks. That's why your life isn't working out the way you want it to. So yeah, anyway. I just got very like, right there. Hey, Robbie Z. I bought your book and audio, got a bit into it. I felt great today. I've been feeling jaded with the world. That's awesome. Good for you. So feeling good about what you learned from the book indicates that you're resonating with the information, and it's true. You were supposed to hear it. You needed to hear it. I'm happy for you. Thanks for checking it out. Hello, Snail. Hello, IK. My life changed buying the ebook. Comes with it. Thanks, Bonnie. Hey, Big Papa. Okay. Maybe 'twas me with the likes. Vibes, word. Okay. Let me catch up on some comments here. Can I talk more about talking to your intuition, accessing your intuition? Yes, there were a couple questions about that. Heyo. All right. Hold on. Yes, talking to your intuition. It's very simple. Everyone write this down. When you talk to your intuition, what I like to do is first relax a little bit, right? Just like take a couple deep breaths. And then I call for my intuition. I say, Bella, are you there? I don't know if you've been on my stream. I know you've been on my stream before, Ruru. If you name your intuition, or if you rather ask your intuition what its name is, it will tell you, and then you use that name to communicate with your intuition. It makes it a lot easier to remember that it exists because you have that personal relationship. If your intuition is nameless, it's very easy to kind of just forget that it's even a thing. Yeah. So ask your intuition what its name is. It'll tell you. And then whenever you want to ask it a question from then on, you would say, Bella, are you there? Or Bob, are you there? You're going to get a tingle, and then you ask your question. Now, there's some rules about what questions you can ask. You can ask any question, but you're going to get more accurate or clear answers with these rules. Write these down. And by the way, if you're wondering why the fuck I'm suddenly talking about intuition, it's because in phase 2, your intuition will give you every instruction you need. In phase 1, you're constantly like trying to figure out what to do, asking other people for advice, and it's so confusing and so complicated and very scary. But in phase 2, you will get step-by-step instructions for what you need to do to create more money, or what you need to do to meet the right people, or what you need to do to find love. That's why it's important. So these are the questions that you want to ask your intuition. Only ask about the present moment. Only ask about the present moment. Do not ask about the past. Do not ask about the future. Your intuition is not a fortune teller. It will not tell you your future because you have infinite futures, right? Also, don't ask why or how. Well, you can technically ask how, as in like, how can I appreciate myself, but never ask why, because why doesn't fucking matter. Why is a logical question. And logic is confusing and complicated and limiting in phase 2. So don't ask why. Why doesn't matter. So only the present moment. Don't ask why. in the present moment, you're kind of left with a few options. So how do I appreciate myself? Or how can I appreciate myself today is a good question. How do I feel like feeling right now? How do I feel like appreciating myself today? What do I feel like doing right now? What can I do to appreciate myself right now? Are you getting the gist of it? Your intuition can guide you moment by moment, but that's perfect because moment by moment is how you create your experience. Right? Cool. Okay. Yes. Oh, I see, Patricia. Yeah, Neville Goddard is good if you grew up Christian and you want to reframe those beliefs. Yeah, I didn't grow up Christian, so it's like over my head. That's funny. Wally gone. Happy to share. Saoirse. So like routine can be sequences for where you focus your happiness. So mind working with you. Yeah, I mean, if you like routine, I'm not someone who particularly enjoys routine. I like to do whatever I want to do. Very free spirit, kind of like in the moment, what do I want to do? But if you enjoy routine and if routine makes you happy, yes, a routine can be a sequence where you're constantly appreciating yourself. Appreciating yourself becomes a part of the routine. Exactly. Okay. Shmi. If we want a specific trait we feel like we don't have, like extroversion, how can we expand into it? Well, you have to accept that you're not extroverted. You can't become an extrovert by fighting against being an introvert. You have to accept that you're introverted. I mean, you have the power to be anything you want to be, but you're not going to be what you want to be by denying what you currently are. So in other words, whatever you want to change about yourself, you have to accept it first. If you don't accept it first, what you're doing is operating out of resistance, and resistance is what causes things to persist. You can't bully yourself into being an extrovert by like hating the introvert inside you. Introvert. Shush. Yeah. So you can say out loud to yourself, or take a couple deep breaths and then say out loud to yourself, I'm willing to admit that I enjoy the feeling of being an introvert. I'm sure you're like, but I don't like being an introvert. That's non-acceptance, and that's why you're still an introvert. Yeah, and this works with everything. Even things like scarcity and struggling. You can't bully yourself out of scarcity and struggling. You can't force yourself out of it either. You have to accept that you've been creating those experiences. You've been creating yourself as an introvert. And you have to accept that. That's taking responsibility, which is where all your power comes from. Accept and appreciate the thing you want to change. Yeah, that's like literally the only way to do it. Exactly, Patricia. Accept and appreciate the thing you want to change. Because you created it. What are you going to do? Are you going to believe that somebody else made you an introvert? Where is your power in that? There is no power in that, right? Psh, somebody else made me poor and weak. That's victim mentality. Somebody else did this to me. That's victim mentality. None of your power comes from that. All of your power comes from saying, I created this experience for the sake of experiencing it. This is why the why doesn't matter. Because it's confusing to say to yourself something like, for example, I am creating struggle and scarcity because then you're just justifying it. You're just saying, oh, because my parents taught me all this shit. Oh, my parents made me the way I am. I created this struggle and scarcity because... No, there's no because. You just created the struggle and scarcity for the sake of the experience. You created the struggle and scarcity to experience struggle and scarcity. It's the same for literally everything. Ann Ritter. So do I say I'm okay with being overweight to reduce my weight? It's not that you're okay with being overweight. It's that you enjoy the feeling of being overweight. So what feeling do you have associated with that? You probably don't like yourself very much. You probably feel isolated from other people. You probably aren't connecting with others, which is a choice you're making, right? I personally believe that body image and being overweight has a lot to do with fear of connecting with other people. So when you're overweight, and this comes from my own personal experience. I wouldn't say I'm overweight, but I definitely have a lot of body image issues. And that comes from me actively wanting people to stay the fuck away from me. Men especially. Like, I went through a period of years where I was very disgusted with myself and I hated the idea of someone finding me attractive because of like trauma and stuff. So I actually enjoyed the feeling of having issues with my own body. It gave me exactly what I wanted. And the fact that you don't accept that is why you keep struggling with it. You can't possibly, in phase 2, you can't possibly diet and exercise your way out of permanent weight loss. It will always come back. Always. I always get fluffier when I'm wanting to isolate. Yeah. Yeah. Keep away from me. I will physically get larger to create space between you and me. Yeah, exactly. You really don't feel that way now, but you did do that in the past. So how do you feel now? How do you feel now? I do the admission exercise and there's a slight weight that seems to be lifted when I do it. Yeah, that's the sensation, G-Aware nerd, of creating space in your body for new experiences, new feelings. You're feeling space. Yeah, it feels like weight coming up. It feels like expansion. It feels like being lighter. Yeah. Hello, shout out from Brazil. Hello. I love you too, Wealth Love. My pleasure, Shmi. Shmi, that's so funny. That reminds me of the Peter Pan movie. Randomly. Saoirse. Oh, right. You accept so you can just like slip through different experiences you prefer. Right. Slip through different, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I think I understand what you're saying. Okay. What is my profile in human design? I'm 1/4. Manifesting generator. Dodging karma. I have an issue with feeling/hearing my influence. I kind of just lay there right now most nights. Kind of just lay there right now. What do you mean, your influence? Feeling and hearing my influence. I don't know what you mean by that. Robbie Z. I'm catching up on comments here and questions, so my apologies if I've been taking a long time to get to your question. I'm going backwards. Okay, Robbie Z. Did you learn this method by some structure or did you come by it by revelation? Great question. For anyone who's new here and wondering how the fuck I know any of this stuff, what happened was okay. This is a funny way to explain it. Okay, so my fiance, Andre, was mentored by a guy who used this information, phase 2, to like live the exact perfect life that he wanted, essentially. That man, Peter, is his name. You may have seen some of my content about it. Peter was like a multi-millionaire, $50 million in the bank, and he made all his money by throwing house parties. And he appreciated himself so much that people that he knew, his friends, like gravitated toward him and they wanted to give him money and gifts. So he accumulated like $50 million in gifts from people by having good times with his friends. Like that's possible in phase 2, right? You do what you enjoy and you create support for yourself doing it. So Peter knew about phase 2. Peter taught Andre. They just happened to meet one day and Andre liked Peter. Peter liked Andre. Actually, they didn't like each other at first. I'm off on a tangent. But that was about 13 years ago. When I met Andre, he tried to teach me about phase 2, and this was about 3 years ago, and I rejected it. It wasn't until about 2 months ago, 2.5 months, that I finally started accepting this information, and my life changed like overnight. Over fucking night. So we know this information because we were taught by someone who used it. Or he was, and then I was. So technically I was taught by someone who used it. Anyway, yeah. This is why I say phase 2 is a secret of the wealthy that gets passed down from wealthy mentor to their mentees. Because that's like the only way to really find out about it unless you read a book like Busting Loose from the Money Game, which is, you know, a good book, but it's only a book. There's only so much information you can get from a book. Ziela Jade. Do you have to go through phase 1 to get to phase 2, even though technically we're in phase 1? That's an interesting question. I don't know. I think that like babies, like infants, are in phase 2. Technically. Babies are, this is all my opinion, so if it sounds fucking crazy, just keep that in mind. Babies are infinitely powerful, but they're limited physically because it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't align with the human experience for babies to come into the world and not be limited in some way. Because then they wouldn't need anyone. And needing people is what allows you to enter phase 2, because that's how you learn how to limit yourself. So I do think that you do technically have to have some sort of limitation before you can enter phase 2. It's kind of like there can't be light without darkness, and there can't be darkness without light. You can't experience being unlimited without first experiencing being limited. So that's how that kind of works. Okay. What did I do to appreciate myself today, Marina Kiwi? Today, I went to a coffee shop, which was really nice. I really enjoy that particular coffee shop that I went to. And I also made plans to get my bike fixed. My bike has been sitting on my balcony for like 2 years, and it's wrecked. It's fucking ruined. So I called a bike shop and I made an appointment to bring it in and have them totally fix the whole thing. Because my intuition told me to start riding my bike again as a gift of appreciation to myself. Why did Peter give you this information? Because he fucking wanted to. Like, think of it this way. If you were wealthy and you knew this secret, and this secret was how you created your entire experience, how fucking fun would it be to teach someone else the same information and watch them have a great fucking time? That would be mad fun. You might be someone who would like to keep it to yourself and just like know something that everyone else doesn't know. But personally, if I were in Peter's shoes, I would want to see as many people as possible use this information, because it would make me feel awesome about myself. All right. Julio is coolio. Yes, awareness is essential. Absolutely. Okay, stop spamming the chat, please. All right, you're getting muted. Weird. Okay. This stuff is clicking more each day. Happy to hear that. Thank you, Menina. Okay, let me catch up on some questions here. I'm just making noises. Okay. Illuminated psychologist. Hello. I think it's acceptance of exactly where you are, right? Being comfortable in your own skin. Yeah. Because get this, you created all the things you're not comfortable with. It creates limitation. For me, body image issues make me feel limited, and I can, in that, I feel like I can only wear certain clothes, and I can't dress a certain way, I can't express myself a certain way. It's very limiting, very limiting. So everything that you're uncomfortable with, you created for the purpose of limiting yourself in some way. And you can always take your power back, no matter what it is. It could even be a very serious health condition. Andre, for example, is blind. He's mostly blind. He has no vision in his left eye and reduced vision in his right. He can't drive a car. Is that a limitation? I guess technically, but he also created me to be his partner, and I love driving. Like, he could wake me up in the middle of the night and be like, drive me here, and I'd be like, yeah, let's fucking go. I love driving. So technically, he's overcome that limitation. When he first lost his eyesight, he was miserable, as you would expect, because he wasn't born blind. He lost it probably like 10 years ago or something. But he took his power back from that experience, and now he firmly believes, and he's told me this several times, that given the choice to get his vision back, he wouldn't take it. Because now that his vision is obscured, he can see the world in a way that most people can't see it, and he has a very strong intuition because he's not blinded by sight, right? He doesn't look at people and judge them by the way they look. He can sense exactly who they are just by his other senses. It's crazy. Like, you'd have to talk to him to know exactly what I'm talking about, but there are no limitations. If you think there's a limitation, it's because you think there is one. Yeah. Okay. Ann Ritter, I feel like I need to change certain habits to become healthier, in which I've started losing weight. Okay. Yeah, so that's good. Okay. How do I gain access to your mentorship? Okay, so the community, the link is not currently available. I'll put that up today. If anyone wants to join the Phase 2 mentorship community, which is like $22 a month, it's for everyone, or at least most people. I will put that link up and you can sign up today. Yes. Your hair is doing its thing today. Thank you. I just got it cut yesterday. LeBron. How do you release shame? You accept that you enjoy the feeling of being ashamed. Okay. What about someone who doesn't have a lot of body weight? What about someone who doesn't have a lot of body weight? What about it? Okay. Eckhart Tolle. Yes, he's cool. Intuition. Ronald Sampaio. The issue to enjoy your condition makes so much sense because you're appreciating the issue or the resistance you're facing. Exactly. You can't bully your way out of an experience. You have to accept your way out of an experience. Peter, aka Gatsby, facts. Menina, Floor, is there a particular topic today? We were talking about feelings, but there's never really a particular topic. Patricia Black, my roommate wants to start throwing house parties. She doesn't know about phase 2 yet. Okay, that's fun. Yeah, so self-appreciation is going to be really key. The reason Peter was able to create that experience was because he appreciated himself so much. He never questioned that people would give him money or gifts. A lot of people, probably everyone here, including myself, if you were presented with an experience where someone was like, here is money just for existing, you would probably be like, why? Why are you giving me this? Like, wait, what do you want for it? What's the catch? What are the strings? Why are you doing this? Which is why people don't just give you money. It's that simple. It is that simple. Peter appreciated himself so much that it was like a given. Obviously, people pay me for existing. Obviously. That's not something you have to convince other people of. That's not something you have to set up outside of you. That is entirely inside yourself. Entirely. Where did Peter learn it from? What teachers? He had a mentor named Kevin. The whole story with Peter and his parties and his mentorship with Kevin is in our original ebook, Quantum Networking. So if anyone wants to like read the whole story, it's in the book. But yeah, he had his own mentor who taught him about phase 2. 25 AC, what are some things you want to experience? Bucket list type. Orgies. To be completely honest. I've also wanted to do, like, in Cappadocia, there are caves where they used to have acoustic rituals. So they would, like, play music in these caves, and the acoustics in the caves would cause, like, experiences, psychedelic experiences. I thought that sounded pretty cool. I would like to do that someday. I like to travel. Asai Montes de Oca. Sorry, usernames. Will phase 2 work if I also start my business? Yeah, phase 2 works with literally everything. It's a lifestyle. You can do anything in phase 2. Anything. Yeah. Official Indica, hello. I've been working on releasing expectation, but it seems like I'm in a cycle of lack and fear no matter what. Because you enjoy lack and fear. So you're releasing expectation, but are you also admitting that you've been creating the experiences you're creating for the sake of experiencing them? There's no why. There's no like, why am I doing this? That's complicated. Forget it. You have to accept and admit and take responsibility for the fact that you enjoy the feeling of fear. You enjoy the feeling of scarcity. That's a human experience. If you were an unlimited soul or an unlimited being and you came to Earth, you wouldn't have a very fun time just creating anything out of thin air. That would be pretty fucking boring after the first, like, minute. That would be very boring. So what you did is you came here and you set up a bunch of limitations and you got to experience what it's like to struggle with money and struggle with love and struggle with connections and struggle with your body image. You're creating all of these experiences for the sake of struggling and experiencing what it's like. Just to see what it's like. Okay. User 231, what kept stopping you from accepting phase 2? The reason it took me so long to accept phase 2 and practice this information was that I refused to accept that it was this simple. I needed it to be complicated. I used all the mainstream manifesting techniques, which are very confusing and complicated, by the way. I did all the therapy, I did all the breath work, I did all the journaling, all the really complicated, confusing stuff, because I needed it to be hard. I needed it to be hard. And none of it worked. None of it worked. Because I needed it to be hard. Okay. Wealth love. I was on your live the other day and it clicked and I was walking my dog and I appreciated the tree and I nearly melted. It felt so amazing. There you go. That feeling expands. And as you expand that feeling, especially when you direct it to yourself, you appreciate yourself because you created the tree, you created your dog, you created everything. There's like no limits to what you can create and experience. None. And time isn't even a factor. You want a new car tomorrow? You can have a new fucking car tomorrow. How much do you appreciate yourself? Do you believe it's possible? That's the question. Timo, the barber. I didn't listen to my intuition to make you a journal design for something you said once, but I wanna. Oh, that's funny. Thank you. I don't do any journaling, so I must have said something a while ago about journaling. But yeah, maybe I wanted to make a journal or something. Who knows? I got glimpses of phase 2 when I was young as a clue for my expanded self. Yeah, exactly. Who were Peter's teachers? You wouldn't know. There was a guy named Kevin. So simple, it's scary. Facts. Yeah. Feel like I've admitted to myself I enjoy the feeling of lack and fear. Okay, so you've admitted it to yourself, but did you feel the feelings? You will know. The thing is, if you're going to admit things to yourself, it's not just about saying it, because there's feelings and energy associated with it. So that means taking the time to sit down, relax, take some deep breaths, say it out loud, and allow that energy to course through your body. Just like, yeah, just flow. Repeat the statement as many times as you need to until you don't feel anything anymore. It's not just about saying it. You have to allow the feelings to flow. That's when I said earlier about creating space energetically. You don't have space because you still have this energy stuck. The energy that's like attached to the feeling of scarcity and fear. It's not about saying it. It's about feeling it. You're welcome. Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. All right, let me catch up on some questions here. I was in Cappadocia with my family a couple years ago. That's awesome. Do I need an assistant? No, but thank you. All right. Gemini Tings. Yes, Maria Cruz Suarez. Yeah. Okay. Dylan Werney. Been feeling huge energy shifts lately. I'm having trouble quieting my mind to hear my intuition. Maybe you enjoy the feeling of not being able to hear your intuition. Or what you think is your like mind bothering you is your intuition. Who knows? I don't know. You know. You know what you're supposed to do. Marina. Rollerblading. Yeah. You're supposed to be rollerblading. That's an experience. That reminds me of the cheese story. Who here has not heard the cheese story? If you've never heard the cheese story, I will tell it because it's a perfect example of how avoiding things that you keep thinking about is the opposite of what you're supposed to do. Yeah. But if you've been thinking about rollerblading over and over again, it's not random. It's because that's what your intuition wants you to do. And as you do that, you're going to experience self-appreciation and you're going to expand on that. And then you're going to get more instructions and then you're going to get more results and have different experiences. That's how it works. Yeah. Do you have to have a quiet mind or do you have to quiet the mind in order to connect more with your intuition? Thanks, Beverly. Well, yeah, technically. Sometimes people have very like chaotic thoughts. Yeah. That makes it harder to hear your intuition. However, it's possible to communicate with your intuition through feeling alone. The hard part about that is you can really only ask yes or no questions. But if you really struggle with having a very fucked up brain and you struggle with relaxing your mind enough to hear your intuition, you can just communicate with your feelings. Appreciation is not the same as being grateful, and here's why. Gratitude is always directed, or mostly, 9 out of 10 times, gratitude is directed outwards at everything around you because you think you're lucky enough to have the things you have. Appreciation is always directed inward, and you're taking responsibility for all the things you have. So you're taking responsibility for your entire experience. You're not thinking how lucky you are for your entire experience. If you're thinking how lucky you are, there's no power in that. It's actually quite disempowering to think that you're just lucky and everything could be taken away anytime. Yeah. Okay, who wants to hear the cheese story? All right. Oh, wait, nobody wants to hear the cheese story. Oh, that's funny. I guess I won't be telling it. All right. Why am I doing this? Because I love talking about it. I love talking about phase 2. Imperfect adventure. I've been experiencing a lot of resistance lately, so I'll work on appreciating that in itself too. Yeah, you enjoy the feeling of fighting against yourself. But really, there is no other you. There's no separation. Resistance in itself, it's kind of fun. It's kind of sexy. Think of it this way. If anyone's struggling with accepting something like resistance or scarcity, put a sexy spin on it. Make it kind of kinky, right? So resistance, or going through a lot of resistance, is kind of like, how do I want to word this? Going through a lot of resistance in your life and creating resistance for yourself is kind of like having a sexual encounter where it's like, no, don't do that. Don't do it. Like, no, I don't want that. No. You're like playing with yourself, right? Don't take that the wrong way. You're not digging holes here. Does that make sense? If you're struggling to accept an experience you're creating, see if you can find the kinky, erotic, funny, pleasurable element to it and just use that. Go off of that, right? Okay, I don't know why I say right all the time. Yeah. Cheese story, cheese story, cheese story. That's funny. Yeah. All right, I'm going to tell the cheese story and then I'm going to catch up on people's comments. So it would be very helpful if you hold your questions, I'm going to tell the cheese story and then I'm going to catch up on questions. So it would be very helpful if you hold your questions until after I'm done catching up, and then I'll be able to answer more. Okay, here's the cheese story. So the question here, the statement that made me mention the cheese story was about how someone's been thinking about rollerblading a lot lately, and that's their intuition telling them, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what we want to do. When I first was working with my intuition, I started working with my intuition. I was very new to it. And I was getting the most random instructions. Like the first time I ever did it, the first instruction I ever received from my intuition was to draw on the walls. Quote, draw on the walls. Naturally, I'm like, that's fucking stupid and annoying because I'm going to have to clean it up afterwards. So I said, is it okay if I draw on the whiteboard that we have? Fortunately, the answer was yes, that counts. So I'm drawing on the whiteboard that we have. All sorts of different colored markers, having a great time, scribbling away. And all of a sudden, I burst into tears. Burst into tears. What I didn't realize was that deep inside me, in some part of me that was locked away, I was ashamed of playing. I was very ashamed of having a good time doing kid things. I can only imagine that when I was little, I was being loud or something and my parents told me to stop because I was annoying, and I just internalized that. So when I was playing and drawing on the whiteboard, I felt like an annoying child and it made me cry. So that was when I realized that my intuition actually knew what it was talking about. So from that moment on, I decided to trust my intuition. The second instruction that I got from my intuition, different day, a couple days later, was to, quote, eat a block of cheese. And I'm like, why? This is so stupid. Why would I eat a block of cheese? That's so random. But because I knew that my intuition knew what it was talking about, I went to the grocery store and I bought a block of cheese and some crackers. And I ate them. And the moment I had that first bite of a cheese and crackers, I was like, oh, I know why I was supposed to do this. I know exactly why I was supposed to eat cheese. Because for years, literally years, I'd been going to the grocery store thinking to myself, I want some cheese and crackers. I really like cheese. I love port wine cheese. I haven't had it in a really long time. Maybe I should get some cheese and crackers. No, I don't need it. It's a waste of money. Forget it. I'll just get the basics. That decision is the epitome of non-appreciation. I was depriving myself of an experience that I wanted to have to save money, which is like stupid because money is meant to facilitate experiences. So I'm keeping the money and foregoing the experience when I'm supposed to spend the money to have the experience. That was why I was supposed to have a block of cheese. That was the lesson. And it just hit me like a train. I didn't even have to think about it. It was just there. So whatever you've been thinking about doing, just whatever's constantly on your mind, do it. You're supposed to be doing it. Yeah. That's the cheese story. Did I eat the cheese whole? Yes. I unhinged my jaw like a snake and I just shoved it down my face. Yes. I love spending money on food. Same. It's like my favorite thing. I probably spend like thousands of dollars on food. Hilarious. All right. Back to the questions. All right. Okay. Oh, you're Turkish. Oh, that's cool. 25 AC. I had no idea. I'm going to be so enlightened when I die. All right. Love you so much. Life on Mars. Hello, Queen. I was literally just talking about you earlier. In a good way, of course. Wealth love. Question. So, how was life in phase 1 with someone that was living in phase 2? Fucking infuriating. That's a fantastic question. And it was also infuriating the other way around. I know for a fact that Andre wanted to like kill me. Not literally. He did not want to kill me, but he was very frustrated with me because he kept trying to tell me how to solve my problem, my money problem, and I wouldn't listen. I was pissed off by him because I would watch him just create money out of fucking thin air. Like, he would spend all day, every fucking day, playing video games, and then at the end of the month, he'd be like, yeah, I made like 20K. I made like 30K. Yeah, I made like 40K. What did you do? What were you doing? You've been playing fucking Tekken this whole time. It was infuriating. Yeah. So, fortunately, we like each other a lot more now that we're both in phase 2. Okay. Tanya. Sorry, Tanya Isla. Tanya Isla? I've only just found you. What is phase 2? Is it EIYPO? I have no idea what EIYPO is. But phase 2 is a secret of the wealthy. People like Robert Scheinfeld, Tony Robbins use phase 2. There's tons of other people as well. But my fiance Andre was mentored by a guy who used phase 2 to build his wealth and live an amazing life. So we're like teaching that now because we've been using it also. It's really fun. Really cool. Robbie Z, do you lay out a method of accepting things? I hear that, but how do you actually accept things? It's very simple. If you're wondering how to accept something, write this down. You're going to use what I call the statements exercise. This is also detailed in full in my book, Quantum Networking. This is how the statements exercise works. You say out loud to yourself, I'm willing to admit that I enjoy the feeling of, and you insert whatever it is that you want to accept or that you've been struggling with. So let's say, for example, I'm willing to admit that I enjoy the feeling of hating the way I look. It's very important that you say, I enjoyed the feeling of, because it's not the circumstances that you enjoy, it's the way the circumstances make you feel. That's why you keep repeating it. You could repeat any circumstance that makes you feel the same way. Yeah. The point is the feeling. But you just repeat that statement and you allow the energy that you feel to move through your body. Because it's more about the energy. It's not so much about the words. It's about the energy and the feeling. You repeat that until it stops moving. You don't feel anything anymore. And at that point, you've accepted the experience. And a lot of the time, it falls away effortlessly. There have been many occasions where I used the statements exercise and whatever problem I kept having just like disappeared. I didn't have to do anything else, just that, which is pretty cool. All right. Okay. So simple, it's scary. Saoirse, letting you feel the energy of fear or enjoying the fear? Both. You feel the energy and you appreciate it. I have a fear of traveling. I wonder why I enjoy this. I don't know. I mean, the why doesn't matter. Do you want to travel but you're afraid? Then admit the fact that you enjoy the feeling of being afraid of traveling even though you want to. Enjoy the feeling of like keeping yourself from doing what you want to do, essentially. But if you don't like traveling and you're afraid of it, and it doesn't really matter, right? It makes no difference. Okay. Spinach leaves. When it comes to an SP, how can I figure out what the blockage is? There's no blockage. There's no story. It's just a story you're telling yourself. There's a blockage. Your SP exists right now. You are already connecting with them. You just refuse to accept that. You refuse to accept responsibility for it. You're basically putting the responsibility on the blockage. You're denying responsibility and blaming something else that doesn't actually exist. So stop doing that. All right. Abby Mo, how often do you receive money unexpectedly since going into phase 2? All the time. It's not even so much about receiving unexpected money. It's more like you look at your account and you have way more money than you thought you did. You don't even know where it's coming from. It's just there. It's kind of like, oh, I spent all this money yesterday. I'm probably kind of low. And then you look and it's not low at all. That happens all the time. So often. Yeah. So you don't really have to figure out where it's coming from. In fact, it doesn't even matter. Yeah. Numbers aren't real. Bank accounts aren't real. It's just an experience that you created to feel limited. Okay. There's so many questions. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Okay. Why do I charge for the programs? Because it's self-appreciation. I'm not going to give everything away for free. That's not very appreciative of myself, is it? That's not very appreciative from you to me, is it? To like not want to pay anything. Yeah. Money isn't even real. Like, you don't have a money problem. If you're bummed out because you think you can't afford any of my low cost products or services, money's not your problem. The problem is that you don't appreciate yourself enough to have whatever you want. You're basically saying money has me as its bitch. Money is more powerful than I am, but you created money. Affording something is not ever the issue. It's the fact that you don't trust yourself and you don't believe in yourself to support yourself. It's not money that gives you security and safety. It's your feelings. People will hoard money to make themselves feel safe and secure, but that's false security. You could lose all your money at any point, and it happens all the time. How many times have you heard a story about someone spending all their life savings on something and not getting a return? Because it's a false sense of security. What really creates security is appreciating yourself to the point where you know fully with every fiber of your being that you create your experience and there's no possible way you could ever run out of money. That's phase 2. Peter had no investments, for example. Peter had no investments, no savings account. He just created money. He created more money than he knew what to do with. No credit cards, no real estate. He didn't even own his house, technically. Well, he did own it. It was a gift. So there was no real equity in it. It was just an asset. But the point is, he knew that money was just a game. He spent money as much as he wanted to, and he knew that he would create multiples of it back. So in phase 2, if you were to have a business and to charge people less than you want to charge because you're worried about them affording it, that's also an issue of you not appreciating yourself enough. Because you're going to be creating people who don't appreciate you. So I suppose your question about why I charge is really just a reflection of me maybe questioning whether or not I should be charging. I created that. Yeah. Okay. There is no irresponsible behavior. Irresponsible is a judgment, and a judgment is limitation. That's it. You can say to yourself, oh, it's so irresponsible for me to spend this money, but you're really just judging yourself and limiting yourself because you're basically suggesting that you can't get the money back. And no, you can't lose at the money game. It's just a game. It's kind of like Candyland. What consequences are there for losing at Candyland? There are none. No consequences. You create your consequences. Hey, Kip. Woo! All right. Sorry, I missed so many people's questions, but I'm going to be hopping off kind of soon. This was one of those streams where there's like a bazillion fucking questions. But I think Kip might be right in that a lot of people are asking logic-based questions because you're trying to understand this logically, and there is no logical understanding. This is something you feel. So what I want you all to do is notice how you're feeling right now as I talk about all this stuff. If someone were to tell you something that's not true, like think of any manifestation teacher you've ever listened to, mainstream manifestation teacher, you probably felt nothing. Maybe your logical mind ate that shit up like, oh yeah, that sounds fucking awesome, but you didn't feel anything. So if you've been listening to me talk and you're feeling like excited or tingly or like maybe scared or maybe like you feel something, that's because it's true and you've been waiting to hear this information. You are creating me saying this to you because you needed to hear it. That's how it works. Yeah. You do have to take responsibility for your lives, like radical accountability. Yeah. That's where your power comes from. That's where your power comes from. You can't lose the game without accepting that you created yourself losing the game. So there is no losing the game. Why would you create losing the game? Yeah. When you truly appreciate yourself, people will love paying you and giving to you. Yes, exactly, Patricia, precisely. Okay. Listening to you makes me feel liberated. There you go. I'm glad to hear that, Pixie. All right. Shimmering Blue Water. How can we buy your book as a Christmas present for someone since it's not a hard copy? Yeah, I've gotten this question a lot lately. When you are checking out, so you go to the link and you're checking out, there's a little toggle that says give as a gift and you can email it to them. I've never actually used that feature, but it does exist. So you won't get a hard copy of it, but you can send it as a gift if you want to. Yeah, okay. I can't shake the idea that the IRS exists. How do you handle taxes if money is unaccounted for? Well, you create your own consequences. So if you believe that there will be consequences for not handling your money properly, you're going to experience consequences. But think about all the wealthy people who like don't pay taxes and don't get in trouble. It's because they know there's no consequences. They don't believe in consequences. So yeah, take that advice as you will. Remember, I'm just the messenger. But yeah, no, the IRS is something that people give a lot of power away to. You created the IRS. You created it because it's just another thing to make you feel limited and scared. Okay. I sat with liking the experiences I'm creating and it feels a little unnatural. Well, yeah, of course it feels unnatural. If by unnatural you mean like illogical, yeah. If you don't, okay, here's the thing. Feeling something and knowing that it's true doesn't always feel good. If you say something and it feels horrible, like you feel sick or you feel nauseous or you feel uncomfortable, it's still true. Try saying a lie to yourself. You will feel nothing. Even a really uncomfortable lie. Like, I killed 3 people yesterday and I'm going to go to jail tomorrow. I feel nothing. It's a horrible thing to say, right? It's a lie. And so you don't feel anything. But if you say something and it makes you feel really upset or sick, it's still true. You're just adding meaning to that feeling. 25AC, do you feel any particular thing when a TikTok goes viral? No. Here's the thing. When my TikToks go viral, it's usually because I have no expectations for how it's going to do. When I make a TikTok and I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to do great. This is such a good piece of content. Usually it doesn't get very many views. But when I make a piece of content and I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to post it, who cares what happens, that's usually when they do pretty well. Caliente, so sorry, I saw your question earlier, I totally missed it. Do we offer coaching programs? We have, or not me, but my fiance Andre loves coaching people. However, his 3 coaching spots are currently full. So what we can do is put you in our community, our mentorship community, and you can start working in there with people. And we have a bunch of events and stuff for members. And when a spot opens up, you can take it. So yeah. I'm going to post the link for that community after this stream. It's not currently available. Okay, well, you can judge it as dumb if you want to, but that's your problem, not mine. Anyway, yeah. If anyone wants to join the phase 2 like mentorship thing, community group thing, I'll post the link afterwards. The community link has not been publicly available, Kip, so don't worry about that. You didn't miss anything. It's just not available publicly currently because I don't know, I just didn't put it up. There's no real meaning. Okay. Saoirse, why do I keep zoning out at the moment and forcing back in even if I'm interested? I don't know. You're asking a why question. It doesn't matter. It literally makes no difference. Why? That's just justification. Okay. Que pendeja. I came back to tell you I was having a work crisis earlier, but I took a break to appreciate the situation. I kid you not, this is crazy. That's good. Okay. That's good. All right. We are post it. Everything that I post is going to be via the link in my bio. So all the stuff that I talk about, the book, the next book, the networking events, all that stuff, the link in my bio, it's all there. The community, all of it's going to be there. Community link is going up after this stream. All right. Whew. Yes. Okay, 25 AC. Yeah, who or which entity do you mean when you say we created? What do you mean? Who or which entity do you mean when you say we created something? Oh, do you mean like which version of you created something? You did. Here's the thing. This is why your intuition gives you the right answer. Not the right answers, but this is why your intuition can guide you to an event that's in the future. It's because your intuition is you, but from an expanded perspective. So imagine your intuition having like a bird's eye view of your experience, or here's a different way to imagine it. Your intuition is your consciousness, and your consciousness is controlling you in a video game. You are the character in the game. So, yeah. You are your consciousness. Your consciousness is you. Your consciousness created you, the human version of you, to experience being limited. You are your intuition. You are your consciousness. You're not some like little pawn. You are connected to all things. You created all things. So, you, the human version of you and the consciousness version of you together created all things, including the IRS. Yeah. You're an NPC in my game. Okay. Right, that's okay. Why I'm doing the live stream. Okay. You created the concept of money to feel limited, like humanity. Yes. All right, y'all. I created someone wanting to pay me $75 for an old pair of flip-flops. You're telling on yourself? That's funny. You sold those to someone with a foot fetish, you know. I used to sell panties. I created someone to pay me $80 for an old pair of dirty panties. Hilarious. But yes, you did do that. It's funny though, because you sold those flip-flops to yourself, just a different version of you. So you technically paid yourself $75 for an old pair of flip-flops. Hilarious. Miss Money Alchemist. Yes. Yes, I hope you all are excited to join the community. I don't know, I'm just speaking at this point. All right. I'm going to pick a random question from back here. Oh, hey, Just Long Outdoors. I love your lives. I just bought your book and pre-ordered it, and I'm loving it. Life-changing, freeing. That's fucking awesome. Thank you. I love how I just like scrolled up and I stopped on your comment. Hopefully you're still here, Just Long Outdoors. But I really appreciate that. That is so sweet. Thank you. I'm going to screenshot that. All right. Okay. Madame Ash commentary. Were your finances separate? Yes, our finances have always been separate. Yeah. Sam the goat, the greatest of all time. Sam the NPC goat. Word. Okay. One time I did my taxes with H&R Block and they were trash. I created that. Yeah, you did. You were probably upset about doing taxes, which is why you created an upsetting experience. Imagine doing your taxes and feeling excited and good about the fact that money is infinite. And get this, whatever you pay in taxes, you can return or you will get back multiplied. What's his name? Robert Scheinfeld described this in his book, Busting Loose from the Money Game. In phase 2, imagine having a slot machine that gives you $5 for every dollar you put in. You would never leave the slot machine because you could just multiply your money. That's phase 2. People are willing, or you would be willing to pay for fucking anything you wanted in phase 2 because you know that that money will come back multiplied. Even if you're spending it on taxes. You maybe pay, I don't know, $5,000 taxes. You're going to get $20K out of the blue somewhere. Or you're going to look at your account and you're going to have $20,000 more dollars than you thought you did. That's how phase 2 works. The reason why that's not happening for you now is because you don't fucking believe it would. You're limiting yourself. You're feeling like money is something you have to work for and convince people to give to you, and really it's just you who refuses to accept that you create money. Money is you. Money has no power over you. You control money. Yeah. Lorica Andrian, do you appreciate your limitations or just accept that you enjoy them? Both. I created everything. And I appreciate the fact that I created everything. I take responsibility, and I love taking responsibility because that's where my power comes from. It's not a chore to take responsibility. It doesn't suck taking responsibility when you know that taking responsibility is what makes you more powerful. I'll fucking claim responsibility for anything. Like, you just tell me. I'll be like, yep, I created that. Because I know that's me getting my power back. Yeah, I did that. I fucking totally did that. Absolutely. Nothing means anything. Means nothing. Yeah. You become unstoppable when you are no longer afraid to feel all your feelings and only do what you feel. Exactly. Taking responsibility and being completely honest with yourself is the key. Exactly. Hey, Royalty Forever. Hi. Thanks. I'm so glad that you enjoyed them. I'm happy to explain. I'll get over the illusion soon. Caliente. Okay, last question. Taking a couple more questions and then I'm out because I have to pee like a racehorse and I'm hungry. Not that any of you needed to know that. I just felt like being straightforward. Do you feel you have a spiritual call doing this work with us? No, not a spiritual call. I would say the way that I feel about doing this work has nothing to do with spirituality and more to do with expansion. So talking about this stuff and working with people on this and writing books about it and making content about it feels so expansive for me. It feels like I'm on a road, like an endless road. All the other things that I've ever done in my life felt like I was running into walls. Always running into some fucking issue. Oh my God, I don't feel like doing this. Ugh, I have to do that. This sucks. Like, all sorts of issues. So this feels expansive. And that's kind of why I'm still doing it. Why I like doing it. And that's how it would work for you also. The things that feel expansive to you are what you're supposed to be doing. The things that feel limiting are what you're not supposed to be doing. And you have to reclaim your power from those things. Thanks, Saoirse. Yeah. Thank you, Menina Floral, for being the #1 gifter. Wow. Thanks. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Sugar Pony 9. I'm glad you like my content. Okay. You're welcome, Lorica. Yeah. Hey, Caliente, that work for you exists right now. It's not one day. You could do this literally today. The fact that you think there's any separation between you and doing work that's expansive is why you're not already doing it. There is no separation between you or anything else. None. Your work that's expansive, or whatever the thing you want to do that feels expansive for you, exists already. You have to stop telling yourself that there's space or time in between you doing it and right now. Yes. Okay. Thank you, and I love your expansive energy. Hell yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay. Let's get you some testimonials by putting this to work. I appreciate that. I very much appreciate that. You know what's funny about phase 2? Testimonials are irrelevant. You don't need testimonials. But I appreciate that. That's really sweet. Thank you. I am a testimonial. So, yes. But yeah, do it. Do this. It's very simple, very straightforward. Just appreciate yourself. Stop seeing separation between you and all the things you want. All things occur simultaneously. Separately, not separately, what's the word? Independently, but simultaneously. Yeah. Okay. Yes. My pleasure, not Mel. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. If anyone popped on late or is wondering anything about phase 2, if you want to get the full picture, highly recommend my ebook. It's called Quantum Networking. It's available via the link in my bio. And I will also be posting the link to the mentorship community for those of you who want to be in a place with a bunch of people in phase 2. I got the best compliment ever about that community. Someone said that they love it because it stops them from going on Facebook. So instead of looking at everyone complaining about shit on Facebook, they join the community and they get to read tons of like uplifting, exciting, expansive stuff. So I'll post that after this. Thank you so much for hanging out. Expansion equals heaven on earth. Exactly. That's how I feel since I came across your work. Best compliment ever. I'm screenshotting that. Thank you. All right, y'all. Thank you, Muhadi Tiller. I appreciate that too. It's the easiest shit in the world because it's what you came here to do. You started out with the limited. You started with a limited experience and now you're experiencing your full power and your capacity and capability. And that's why it's so awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the questions and I'm so sorry if I missed a bunch of questions. There were a lot of them today. But I'll be live again tomorrow, hopefully, and the day after and the day after. Love you, Marie Cruz. Thanks, everyone. Kisses. Go check out the ebook if you haven't already. Link in bio. Bye.